Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View and welcome to another episode 32 to be precise, of the Trinity. Yes, unpowered by Dan Gore because we had to drop that a little while ago when we saw that Dan was going through some injury issues and
he did that.
We thought it was unfair. It was unfair to expect him to carry us through these episodes and, continue to power the show without knowing. So,
especially as a youngster as well, like we put a lot on his shoulders, and again he got injured, so it's a lot of combined weight, and then the weight of the team as well. It's just too much.
Too much expectation, mate. Too much expectation.
Flex expectation.
Flex expectation. Ooh, flex expectation.
On the floor.
100% on the floor. Dan Gore.
With Dan Gore.
But we've got another big show, peeps. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are live right now at 6:03 p.m. Shout out Lil Yo-Yo. I see you right there. Of course, we're going to beat Spurs, bro.
No,
of course. Shout out Uncle. Shout out the delegates as well.
Yeah, no, don't do that because we're not live. We can't do that.
Oh, so now you wanna do that. Right,
I just want to respect your platform.
KG's in a serious mood. KG's in a serious mood.
Why are you in a serious mood? Okay.
Oh, they hate me. They hate me.
KG in the wrestling parlance, yes. KG has turned heel.
I turned heel.
The audience dictates the direction that the character should go in, and they've said no more Mr. Nice Guy. Actually, too much Mr. Nice Guy from KG the comedian. So KG's turned heel.
Wait, KG, wait. Okay,
they hate me. They're trying against me, bro.
Okay. Right, let's unpack this.
You can't unpack it, bro. They hate me. I hate them.
No. So you want to respect the platform, but you say you hate the community.
Bro, it
was said through gritted teeth and a lot of sarcasm when he said he wanted to respect the platform. I don't know if you picked up on that, Flex.
I did.
No, do you know what it is? Yeah, do you know what it is, Flex?
What is it? Talk to us.
Listen, there's no point in me getting into the comment section anymore. One person said, I hope KG's reading the comment section because he usually does. He used to back in the day, United stand, and hopefully he can see the error of his ways and just realize everything he's saying is wrong and he's making a fool of himself. And I laughed. I went into the comment and I said that and I laughed, but that was when it was at 20 to like 30 comments. And then I thought, nah, you know what? I'm not getting back because it's probably crazy. And I spoke to Owen earlier today. Yeah, we had these little chats. Yeah, and he goes, "Mate, it's not looking good." And I goes, "Owen, I know." I said, "I know," but then again, if you need to, again, swimming against the tide, it's difficult, and you could get.
Do you feel like you're doing that? Why do you feel like you're swimming against the tide? What is it like in KG's mind? What's it like from your perspective? Why do you think this is happening?
I feel like. I just feel like the progress is super slow. It's super slow, but then we're moving in this direction. We just need to score the goals. I listened to Andy Mitten on TalkSport earlier, and he's saying, "Look, man, we're creating all these opportunities, but then it's about the clinical side." But then he actually goes in and says the flip side to it is, well, last season, how many league goals we scored? 51 or something incredibly low. So even though we're creating these opportunities, I don't think we was creating them last season, but we're not known for scoring a lot of goals under Ten Hag. Since in his tenure here, we haven't put teams to the sword. It's not something we do. And is it ever going to be the question is now, is it ever going to be something we do? But I'm still willing to give him time for us to answer that question. But even now I've said this year, someone's going to go crazy. 3 years. 3 years. That's all. Since I say time, you're gonna hear it's 3 years. Do one. You're embarrassing yourself. I know all the comments, bro, but it is what it is. End of the day, I'm just trying to allow this. We brought in all these players. We've done all this stuff. We've made a lot of moves for this manager because he doesn't have his veto. Brought in his ex-players. Are we gonna upheaval it now? I don't know if we should. I think we should literally even get to December, bro, before we start talking these kind of talk.
I think a lot of people are still saying though December as well. I think, I've seen quite a few, those big sort of social media accounts that were very, very pro Ten Hag are still pretty pro Ten Hag. But even from then, and I think this is the biggest, turning point, is an acknowledgement from them of like, yeah, okay, right, we're conceding left shots. All right, we're XG's higher. Okay, our duels are higher, our interceptions are higher. Like those metrics, they're all up. But I think all of them to a T are going, but you need to get results pretty soon because, you know, that's the problem. And I didn't even realize this, Flex, until I spoke to KG earlier on today, right? After the match, me and KG were very opposite in how we were feeling at the time. I mean, I think KG, to be fair, you were quite sort of just defeated at the time, weren't you? You got defeated. I was quite angry at the time. And KG decided, as you should, if it's a bit too much, you disconnect from the chat. I'm just not really going to sort of read the chat at the moment. But KG did that by physically moving his head out of the shot. So for the majority of it, he's like he's like this going,
why don't you just move the screen? Why don't you just
he was like, I know, but it's one bad mistake. His head's here. He's going, I know it's just one bad mistake. I'm just annoyed we're not scoring enough goals. And KG goes, I watched it back just to kind of see how was I kind of doing. I'm not even in the fucking shot. I'm done.
But then people see this though, then that's probably why they're like, you know, I don't know, look how he's responded to it or whatever. But I think like look, here's my thing.
Happy.
Like,
I think people are happy in where we are.
Happy, yeah.
And I'm not enjoying this. There's no way that like I'm not enjoying.
I think the perception maybe isn't necessarily happiness. The perception is excuses, isn't it? That's the perception. They're saying KG's making excuses for the manager. KG's making excuses for certain players. That's the perception. And to be fair, when you after the game, when I said I can't believe Bruno Fernandes was put to the right-hand side, and you then tried to spin it up going, Bruno's offered some stuff from the right-hand side before. I just don't think that's what people want to hear at the time. And I don't think that's genuinely how you feel as well at the time. No, I think that is that's KG. That's KG Cope. And KG heels are dug firmly in. I'm not moving out of this position right now. Piss off, basically.
Because I get into fuck the people elements where I'm like, you know, just piss off. You know, like you have a certain moment.
Literally, that's what I just said.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
What can I do? I'm flawed. I'm a flawed individual, bro. But then it's one of those don't let me start. And then me and
the worst thing is this is going to make things worse.
The killer is what it is. There's nothing I can do. And I know the funny thing is because I've been so positive, right? Bro, when they scored, I swear to you, I just saw the live chat go, but all I could see was, this is how's your boy looking? What do you call it, bro? And I said, can we support this team?
Yes,
bro. And I goes, oh man. And I understand it. The kid, it's like you have to develop in this thing, because of experience. We've done this, guys. We've actually, all of us have been here before. We've had strange managers. We've actually done this whole journey before, but since we've been doing this content stuff, we've never actually won something significant. Like really, like we haven't experienced title charge or
proper euphoria. No, we haven't. No.
We haven't experienced euphoria. We've just experienced the cycle of optimism when a new manager comes in and we're all gonna back them, to it all crumbles. And I know the phase that we're in right now.
Yeah, it's identifiable phases and steps. And that's what makes it not scary, but frustrating, because you go, I've seen what this bit is.
I know what this is.
No one can agree on anything. When you say that, someone takes it as this. This result means that, but that result means this. This player's doing this, and now all the fan base are looking at this one player. Then it's signings. Then we get signings. Then people go, "Ooh," because I've seen the Ugarte thing now. Apparently, Ugarte's trash already. You know, there's a lot to unpick. Like, and I go, I've seen this.
I've
seen it. So we are in this thing, and that's why, really and truly, right. Which is, but I say this through gritted teeth because. Does it make me a hypocrite about saying? No, it don't make me a hypocrite, but it's kind of like being a hypocrite because I'm about to say this, but I also know it's not possible. We have to try. We have to try. I feel stupid saying it. It's like we have to not get overboard either way and let the thing play out. But we can't. We can't. Get
rid of him.
We can't.
Get rid of him. It doesn't work.
Can't. It doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
No,
you can't do it. You can't do it. It's impossible.
Because what he's asked for is for us to be he's asked us to be grown-ups. He's asked us to have, he's asking for patience and everyone to stick together. Is that he said?
Well,
It's why it's impossible.
I believe a famous phrase from Flex is "rip it all up," but let's not get too carried away.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why I said I'm going to say this through gritted teeth and basically be hypocritical, because it's true. Like, if that's kind of what we need to do. But what happens is what KG's saying. It's like we find a way to then infight away from the main problem. So
and again,
you know what I mean?
That was the frustration also after Wednesday too, wasn't it? Because that was the thing that you were saying, wasn't it, KG? You were going, I just don't think we should overreact. That was the thing, wasn't it? You going, I don't think we should overreact. But the problem is we do it both ways, don't we? So when we do beat Barnsley 7-0, we go, this is brilliant. And look, it's great to win 7-0. But at the same time, those people that maybe are a bit more, I want to say negative, shall we say pessimistic, realistic maybe, or they have just a higher threshold to be proved by things, they're like, well, we'll see when we play in Europe, or we'll see when we play Palace away, we'll see when we play Spurs. And then when it doesn't happen, and when it doesn't happen, they go, well, that's why I didn't get too carried away when we beat Barnsley or Southampton, because that's what I expect us to do. So, and then it kind of goes
emotion though, because even let's have it right. Like, it was so funny, and I saw the moment coming. I thought, I actually knew what was going to happen before it even happened. Flex, this is the Owen done a U, bro. He done the flex. Jurgen Fleck. No, he goes. No, he's not the score. He goes, if Bruno, this is nice having. He goes, if Bruno does something stupid here, I promise you, I'm gonna lose it. Now, Flex, you know Bruno. Me and all of us know Bruno. Yeah,
that free kick was wild at the end.
Something stupid from Bruno is high. 2 point whatever. Yeah, it's high. Yeah, I would even raise it to the 5s. He does it. Yeah. Owen loses shit. Owen loses. And I've never really seen him. I've never actually seen Owen lose it like that. But then he got every single time. This guy, and I think there was some residuals from the Crystal Palace game that he must have done a magic.
It's a carryover because Bruno's in a terrible moment. It's all into one.
And I was also making a tally every time he used the outside of his foot.
Yeah.
So that was also
the agenda was strong.
Because it was 3 minutes in, he did outside of his boot and he gave it away. And I went, this is taking the piss. Yeah, I went flying. I was like, I got my notepad out. You know what KG's like? Every time he did anything outside of his boot, he went, you count him when they're successful? I was like, no.
Only the shit ones. So that's what I'm saying. Oh, so him playing this way,
we're back.
And all of these conversations around Bruno Fernandes, has forced you to feel that way. That's how. And you know what though? Most people agree though by saying he's moving mad. Like I tell you what, I just got back from a funeral, right? Wasn't in the best of moods. It just so happened that everything wound down and I got back in time for kind of kickoff. But I was still kind of just debriefing. I had kind of on, but not on. Still talking. I'm still doing what I need to do.
Yeah, of course.
I haven't even got the volume up. You know what I mean? It's one of those. And I thought, I'm not going to watch properly and get too emotionally involved because it's been a long day. You know what I mean? And this is why I like this community, because I could share this, right? And I was like, so I saw a few little things in the first. I was like, oh, just kind of peeping. Oh, good move. Oh, unlucky Rashford. Oh, flip-flap through the legs. Oh, Rashford. Oh, wow. I was like that. Then I see Eriksen score. I'm in conversation, man. I'm not even going, yes, we've scored. I just went, okay, we scored. Good. It felt really weird, actually, watching it like that. I was like, oh, what a strike. Half-time. I thought, oh, well worth the lead. And I saw all of the second half. And I just looked at us kind of like, oh, we're on the back foot here. Oh, how have they... And then when they scored, I went, oh, do you not just look at you lot? Then when the Bozo gene kicked in after we scored and they all just kept giving the ball away, that little 5-10 minutes straight after they scored, all of a sudden, there you go, the dominoes have collapsed. And then they went to that 5 at the back and changed it. And then Bruno did this thing, right? And I banged the chair I was sitting in. He was by, I don't know, well, you would have seen it. He was by the touchline in the latter stages of the game. And he had the ball like in a 1v1 and he just had to wait to basically pass it to someone else. And he tried to, I think he had to wait for the overlap. That's what he should have done. What did he do? Try the nutmeg or try and turn into the guy.
I remember
and then they got to boot it. I swear to you, I just went, fucking, what? Like it just made me so angry. And then that free kick at the end of the game, and just the way the game was petering out. It was just shocking. And you know what? Before I hand over back to whoever's taking the floor, I have to say this, KG, you always advise against this, but I'm sorry. This is what I'm forced to do. You always say, nah, but when we're doing all right and we might score or the game's going good, you go enjoy it though. You can still I'm not doing it, bro.
You're not gonna enjoy it.
not to the top level like I was before. You know what my thing's going to be? And it's going to be unbearable for a bit. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. I'm going to celebrate goals. Of course, hear me out. Hear me out. Here's what I mean by that, right? So you see, like, in the Crystal Palace game when we're doing, well, you wasn't there. We're doing the right things. And I'm like, yeah, but we ain't scored yet. I always add in the little negative bit because I'm like, nah, man, we haven't done anything yet. I'm going to be so on that to protect myself, bro. I'm not doing it. Because and even when we do score, I'll go, you know what? I'm going to be that guy. And people in the comments will probably have to moan for a few weeks, but I need to do it for my own care. Yeah. I'm going to be like, well, that's 1-0, but you know what I mean? We need a second here because you know what? We will take our eye off the ball at some. I'm going to be awful.
Owen was not in that same way. Owen was kind of doing that. He goes, we haven't scored yet. Can you see? But can you turn it on? Thanks. Oh yeah, there you go. It's getting dark, bro. You know when the room was expected here, and it wasn't as dark as before, but we're like, wait, no. Anyway,
I'm not doing it, bro.
I get what Owen was doing. This one was like, we haven't scored yet, but then he was reminding me about when we've been the shit team and what we do when we say, hang on, we're not dead yet. You know what I mean? And literally in that game, literally he was like, they're not dead yet. It's the similar position. They are still alive in this one. And I was almost kind of like, not similar to the way we was in the Arsenal game when we just told you to shut up and told you don't have an opinion at all.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone from that. My own thing, you know what I mean? So this is where I'm coming from. So I'm extremely scarred.
No, bro, we're all scarred. The killer is, what you have to understand is, we're all scarred and we're all trying new ways to deal with what we're going through. But one thing we could all agree with, it's with shit. Like, that's the hardest part.
But that's the thing, KG. Apparently, to some people, we're not. And I think that's where the frustration comes from. Because you say that, and then people go, "But these underlying metrics are better," and you sort of go,
"But we shouldn't." Wait, hold on. See, like you're saying, we shouldn't be shit. But we are right now. I said we shouldn't be because the pieces, we got some decent things there. Everyone, it should be better than what it is currently.
So what do you do if it isn't then? So then the question becomes with that then. If it should be better, and if you're looking around going, right, these tools are here, these metrics are better, but the thing that matters the most, the results, the points on the board are not better, then what needs to be changed? Or is it just a case of, and I think this is the real pro people just say that they'll just say nothing. It will fall into place. It will get better. It will get better. And I think that's where the disagreement comes, because there's people that say, just keep going, it will get better. And there's others that say, if you keep going, it will get worse. And the only way to find out is just wait.
Basically, and then they go, but it's too late. We're throwing away the season.
You know what I mean? That's what it is. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know what anything is like. It's like, I don't know, like growing a plant or whatever. That will get really tall, don't we? We'll fucking see. Yeah. You know? And then 6 months later they go, yeah, it was right. It was. Yeah, it was.
Or look at it, dead. Nyam out, no leaves, mash
you walk in and you see someone secretly spraying it, going, come on, fucking. You know what I mean? And that's it.
I feel like Mr. Miyagi with those plants that he was getting Daniel's son to look after. I'm still hoping and believing. It's just my thing. Like, I can't even apologize for it, like, literally. And I want to go full hill and tell everyone to piss off, and this is what it's going to be. And probably if we do get successful, I will. Like, I'm writing, like, you know, like Santa checking the list. Wait, he's taking the list and checking it twice. But I'm doing it in reverse, in a negative way. I'm taking a list for all the people that I want to cuss if it turns out to go our way.
Do you know what you're going to be like? You'll be like, there was a famous WWE storyline in the late 90s with Bret Hart, okay? Yes. And he became a bad guy, but he thought, I'm just telling the truth. I'm just saying it how it is. I'm just telling the truth. And his truth was that he was like, America's terrible. America's rubbish. And when he was in America, obviously, he was booed quite a lot. But they had shows every other week. They would go to where he's from, Canada. And every time he would go to Canada, they cheer him like mad. They cheer him like mad because they would go, this is our guy. He's right. He's right with what he's saying. And that's what it's going to be like with KG, yeah? Yep. If it does go right, he's going to go to his hometown crowd, right? Those people that have believed the whole time, the delegate, and they'll be like, see, he was right the whole time.
He's our leader.
Guess what? Hey, I'm not. It's ropey with the delegates at the moment as well.
Oh yeah, they don't rate you. Yeah,
I was going to say, I've heard some things. I've heard some things from the delegate. Yeah.
Yes, I don't even know where I'm going in my hometown, bro. All I'm saying is, you know it's going to happen. We just need to win, which brings us beautifully onto the Spurs game. Because, guys, I asked this question at the beginning of the week. I asked most of the delegates. I said, hey, guys, if 1 is calm, where are you now? 1 is calm, 10 is, oh my God, I'm pissed off, can't stand this manager. I'm going to lose it, yeah? Where is most? And guess what? Most of the people was at 3s and 3s, 4s and stuff.
Right now, as you're asking,
this is before. This is
the game.
Pre-FC20, yeah? I spoke
pre that game.
Yeah, I spoke to one guy and he goes, well, similar to Flex, I'm like, at the moment I'm free, but I could go to a 9 just like real quick, yeah? And I goes, okay, today, yeah, guys, in terms of this calmness and how I feel about the manager, I'm at a 5. It's just in the middle on a knife edge.
So you're perfectly 50-50 between the negative and the positive.
Yes, because I can see it. I can, like, there's nowhere for this manager to go in terms of, you can't say you haven't been backed. You can't say you don't have players. You can't say, but then at the same time, I'm watching a game where Maguire jumps in, Ericsson does a madness, and Onana gets beaten near post. And I'm thinking, well, he doesn't do that. Or I'm watching the same game where these guys are on flash on goal and they miss. He's not responsible. Say, you know, like, say it's right in the 50, but then guess what? We do have the game against Spurs, and me and Owen noticed something really quickly that, like, that the last time I watched Man United win at the ground was when we played City. In Ten Hag's
hell. Yeah, when Garnacho come off the bench and crossed it in the last minute, and the Bruno offside one.
Or Newcastle, first game of the season when Ronaldo scored.
We think that's accurate because
you're the judge.
He's been to a few games, and obviously he was at Liverpool on the season.
I can't.
Bro, you can't come.
I can't lead the country, yeah, but I can't be at the game. So I have to be in the country. Remember, when I lead the country, we lose. When I'm in the country, we do well, but I can't go. That's simple. Yeah, not like you. We said, because me and you was like, Flex was, Owen was like, well, that's how Flex was, you know. But I said that Brighton one with the 4 goals and the 4 taps on the post.
And 4-0.
That just felt crazy.
It would never be repeated, that one.
Where are you lot, though? Where are you lot on the scale of 1 being really calm, it's fine, everything's okay?
I'm at a 6 now.
Okay.
I'm at a 6. I'm slightly just past into the negative bit. I'm in a 6, which is not, it's not the infamous rip it all up yet. It's not get rid of it, or it's, you know, but like you say, and we joke about it, but it's true, and I know it's true. Depending on some context, I can go really easily. I know I can. I feel it. I know I can. But I'm at a 6. And the reason I'm at a 6 is because, like I say, it's a minute improvement. I'm not disregarding it at all. I've been a big advocate of it, obviously, in the good things that we are doing. But like I always say, I still see a lot of the old traits. I still see a lot of things that aren't right. And most importantly, results. And I just know that, coupled with how important these 3 games are going into the international break, and I'm going out to Portugal again in midweek. Tough game, big team, big history, big atmosphere, you know, really difficult games. If we come out on the wrong side of that, you know, if we come out with our tails between our legs on the way back from Portugal, then you go, well, don't worry, you can bounce back at Villa away. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, this could get really peak really quickly. And that feeling we had going into the first international break was bad with the 3-0 licks off Liverpool. I fear that this one could be a worse feeling if we're on the wrong end of it. So you could call that pessimistic. You could call that, come on, Flex, think, because like Owen said on the morning show, and he's really right, it could change. It's so finely balanced. If we get 9 points in the next things, oh my God, what a turnaround. Yeah. So that's why I'm only just above the half. It's not like a crazy, I'm at an 8. I'm only waiting for the next loss and I'm just being honest. I'm at a 6.
Owen.
What number am I at? I mentioned it this morning, like Flex just alluded to. It is, I think Erik ten Hag in general at the moment, I think he is on an absolute knife edge. Not in the sense that like he's going to lose his job anytime soon, but the ability to recover from it. You know what I mean? He's at the top of a slippery slope. And it's just a case of whether or not he's going to take a couple of steps backwards and start to fall down, or he's going to take a couple of steps away and then he's in better shape. Because it's still early in the season. So obviously, if we were to win at the weekend, we're on to 10 points, then we're in-ish, the sort of 5th and 6th, win a game after that. Suddenly, you're in the top kind of 4 area again, and it's okay. But And also, if we would win at the weekend, that goes from we haven't won our last 2 games to we're unbeaten in 5, because we've got 2 wins in a row, 2 draws in a row, and then a win. If we lose at the weekend, that no loss in 5 turns into you haven't won in 3 games. So it's that finally poised for him at the moment. So I would probably echo Flex in the sense of 6, in the sense of that result in the midweek really concerned me, really worried me, because that felt like last season-ish. Not in the sense of like we got hammered or battered and all the shots against us. It just felt like it's near enough a full squad, and somehow it felt like we didn't have really any options, which worries me. I looked at that, and particularly once we conceded, I thought, I don't know how we're going to score. I mean, 2 of our best chances in the game were nearly own goals in the end, which is a worry. And I just go, I don't, and I do get that you can't. It's not a light switch, can't turn it on, so you don't suddenly just like at the weekend. I don't know if we just suddenly play great and dominate the whole game. That's not going to happen, really. But he needs results. He absolutely needs results, and also he needs to get a couple of big calls right.
Yes,
I think that's the other part of it. Yes. Like, for instance, when he dropped Rashford last weekend to the bench, like, if he'd have done that like 3 weeks prior, that would have been a big call that people celebrated. But because Rashford's played all right now, it's like, that's a strange decision. And it didn't pay off because we didn't win the game. So then it felt like, well, that's a big decision. That
and Rashford didn't really contribute from the bench. Like,
exactly.
Garnacho actually did well against Palace.
Yeah,
scored.
exactly.
But all his actions for being there were right. Like, he was making good runs. He was involved in the game. He didn't have a stinker. But then when you brought Rashford on, where you're kind of saying, okay, give us that oomph off the bench, it was very flat.
And we're still doing that thing we were doing last season, in the sense of we're talking about ifs, buts, and maybes.
Yeah.
So we're doing we played really well against Crystal Palace. If we had scored, that'd have been a fantastic performance. Last season it was, if we'd have just held out against Brentford, if we'd have just held out against Chelsea, and then you go, that's great, but we're not doing any of those things that we're saying if we could have done. And that's a problem. So it's like me and KJ had the argument after the game when you were saying that it's the one mistake thing. If we hadn't made that mistake, we would have won, but we didn't. You know, we did make that mistake, and we didn't recover. You look at some of the other teams, not just in the Champions League, in the Europa League, you know, you get the impression of probably Spurs, if that had happened to them, they went to 1-1, they'd probably gone and got another goal. Exactly. At home, like, that's kind of what you do, isn't it? You know, in European competition. And I worry about that sort of mentality. As far as the weekend, though, I do think that the good thing with Spurs, even if they're playing at their best, they will give you chances. It will not be a game where we don't have chances. We created chances against Palace. They will give us chances. They play with the high line. It's going to be interesting to see what Eric does with it.
You know, my only issue is this, and this is where you're in the middle when it comes to this manager, right? They've given us the blueprint. Every other team has given us the blueprint on how to effectively play against Spurs. Let them have it, sit back in a low block and counter-attack, because they're going to play a high line. You'll get your chances, get runners in behind. Yeah? Eric's not going to do that. A little part of us knows he's going to approach the game trying to have more possession than the other side.
Is he damned if he does, though? Damned if he doesn't with that? Because the only thing I would say that is, if we did a low block against Spurs at home, then you do get those people going, look at us. We're playing a low block against Spurs at home. I can't believe it. They'll go, if you look at Arsenal, or you look at City, or you look at Liverpool, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't play at a low block at home. They dominate the ball because they're the better team and they're at home and they're going to be on the front foot. So it is almost a case of be careful what you wish for in that regard, isn't it? I understand what you're saying in the position that we're in. And you go, well, just do what's needed to win the game. But then you get back into that whole style of play stuff. No, you've got to have an identifiable style of play, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And as we've said a million times, what's it ultimate about? Results.
I think for this one, it's really not that complicated for Eric, right? It shouldn't be. I don't really have a problem with him saying that, listen, we're not a counter-attacking team or whatever. I want us to be this, win the ball high up team, play out from the back, build up with inverted fullbacks, high pressing team. I want us to be that team. And that's fine. if you do that week in, week out, I've got no problem with it, apart from maybe when you play Man City, you might sit off a little bit more, and Arsenal respectively, yeah, sometimes. But against Spurs, the only tweak he needs to make, really, we can still play that way if you want, because if you go after Spurs in the first few minutes and make sure we keep winning it back and they have to keep kicking it out, or good, there's no problem with that. You don't have to. What you shouldn't have to do at home against Spurs is, because you want to be counter-attack, like you just said there, just sit off. Let them pass it about the back. Let them have it in the middle third. Only press or like engage if they get into what. You can't just be passive at home, even though they play a high line. The fact they play a high line won't change. So really, all you need to say is, the only different instruction is when we do get the ball, Xerxes, yeah, you're coming short. You're dropping off the front. Runners, Ahmad, whether that's you and Rashi, off you go. That's the only difference in. So where I might ask them to get involved a little bit in more build-up or be a bit more patient, initially when we win that ball back, we're gone. I do need that from you, because if we can lick it,
Bruno Hollywood, then do you
well,
need
not well. It doesn't. Well, it's only Hollywood. Here's the thing about that, right? And this is why it's interesting about what Bruno does and doesn't do. It only becomes Hollywood when it's a really difficult pass to make and the percentages of it landing are not high. If you win the ball back in good areas and people are running into good spaces, it should be easy passes to make. Hollywood is when the pass is difficult. Do you know what I mean? And like, to hit that pass through there with your weaker foot, 30 yards or outside the boot between two players and the gap's this big.
And not necessary. You know what I mean?
And not necessary.
You're passing.
Yeah, like the right pass might just be, the right pass there might just be, well, Mazraoui's running past you.
Yeah, give it back.
Do you know what I mean? But actually, when you win the ball in transition, Bruno was involved in a good move, against Crystal Palace. Because again, I'm not just going to paint it like everything's rubbish. He was involved in a good move where the ball broke down in the middle of the pitch where he and Xerxes were close together. But Bruno actually wins it back. The ball just kind of went to Xerxes and he played the ball through. But Bruno would have been able to do it. So if you win the ball back in the right phases and the runners are right, the pass that you should make is very easy. It doesn't have to be Hollywood. So I don't really buy into the fact that we have to sit off them because it's counter and we just want to sit in, let them play loads of passes and then just go for it. And I don't subscribe to the theory that we have to be 100% totally on the front foot. It's a mixture of both. Like, you just pick your moments of when to do it, but just make sure you have runners who are willing and most of all, patient. Rashi, hold that. Remember when we played against Villa?
Stay on side.
And just stay. And that's why you do need a little bit of an Ahmad in there to just go, he's going to wait for the release. And that's where the Bruno decision-making, either you release the ball at the right time and the runs need to be intelligent. Don't go too early.
Do you know what's so annoying? And what's annoying about our play, or little things that just, it should be a message to the players. You see, when we lost, when we went a goal that way, so it's 1-1 in that FC20 game, instead of just saying, because Rashford and Ahmad were getting so much change off the left back and right back they were playing up against. And I thought, just tell them to keep attacking their at getting at that player. But so when we, like, let's say in the game against Spurs, who knows, for instance, let's say we start running at Pedro Porro and we're getting the best of him. Keep feeding him. But we won't. We'll just say, I'm not going to use that goal down that wing anymore. No, the guy doesn't want to see him. Get him on a yellow card. Do something. When Diogo Dalot was struggling against Diblin, as we always go back to, they kept on giving it to him. And Diogo had to manage that until he gave away a penalty. We don't do that. We don't find the weakness in the team and exploit it. We have, sometimes we're playing against guys that are old as dirt, bro. And somehow Milner, when Milner's playing and you're like, if you run at this guy, he will not be able to manage. What do? We don't go at him. We don't.
But then that goes back to, is that the system? Is that the system that we're in?
Other scenarios.
That is a Ten Hag thing.
Because there was the other thing when who was coming on? I think it was Garnacho that was coming on. And Robbie Savage was on co-coms, or someone, it was Owen Hargreaves who was on doing the analysis. And apparently he's like, we were right next to Ten Hag. We heard him. Apparently he was going like, one of the only things he was saying to Garnacho was defend, 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 defend. And to your point, KG, you're going, well, it's only 1-0. I get you want to protect your lead, but like, are we not? Why are we now?
Is that what he said?
Why are we now backing off? Why are we now backing off at home? We're 1-0 up. Again, game's not over. Why are we seeing it out? Why are we seeing the game? And to your point, I know, like, But then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because because we threw away leads last season, but we did it anyway this season. You know what I mean? And again, maybe that wasn't necessarily because we were going super defensively. That was an individual error, but I still contended that second half, like they were on top. We were strolling through the match. We were, and it doesn't have to be like, you know, Onana's making last gasp saves or as one-on-ones, whatever. But you know, like sometimes you could just feel it when you're watching it. Like crowd got quiet, their fans were making a lot of noise. At one point, they got a corner, and you could just go,
yeah,
things are
the pendulum swinging. Yeah.
And that's when, and then you start going, what's the time? 65 minutes. We should be making some subs now, maybe, should we? Because you can feel the game just kind of drifting or slipping from you. And that is where, once again, you sort of go, manager, you got to kill. The game's got to be killed off, obviously, by the players when they get the chance and they score the goals. But also, particularly as a coach, you do earn your money in those sort of latter stages of the second half, don't you? Palace, a great example. Glasner, first half, his tactical plan was not working. They were lucky not to be 4 or 5 down at half time. But he did make a switch, and then it felt like Man United didn't really know what to do. After they switched it for a little bit, they're going, oh, what do we do? And then we never really sort of got that kind of control and dominance back in the game. And it's sort of, again, I do wonder what that mentality is, you know, particularly at home against, no disrespect to them, but a smaller team like FC 20, it should be, right, 1-0 up, go kill off the game. I know it's like 75th minute and it's Europe, you've got to be careful, but go kill off the game. Oh, and by the way, if you do go 1-1, individual mistake, get another goal. You can get 2 or 3. You know, you've got the players to do it.
And it's scary. What's really scary in that game, I told you the context in which I was watching it. But what was scary for me was, like I said, firstly, that first 10, 15 minutes after we conceded, I went, they're going to score again. There was a thing, I think Dallo had left the left back position open, and their player tried to hit a cross or switched it. Well, he done some good stuff. But then another guy, well, it could have been him. He tried. There was a counter attack, and he switched it, but he went out for a goal kick. But with a better ball, the guy was just at the back post. He had a free hit. And then there was another time when you said, I think it was Harry Maguire was getting run at, and there was like a couple of, he could have gone left or right, the guy, and then he ended up getting an interception. Basically, if they could have been more clinical in those moments where we could, I mean, we were just getting the ball back and just losing it every time. And then what was scary is what that manager then went, okay, well, this is really historic for us. Let's not throw it away.
Yeah,
right, you get off here. We'll go with a 5-4-1, and they just won't break us down for the next 10 minutes of this game. And really and truly, again, the best chance came from the Harry Maguire header when it would have been another own goal where the keeper had to get it. Other than that,
was it going to be on goal, or it would have been?
I think it would have been an own goal. Harry Maguire headed it, and then their guy put his leg, and then the keeper had to go the other way. And then you're like, you know what? That was the best we could muster up. And then there was another one straight up that immediately after that, I think it hit someone else or something like that. But there wasn't much in gilt edge chances. And then there was forcing the ball. Then there was going too slow with the ball, going sideways because they just had this back 5 just camped in there with 4 just in front of that. And their manager, I don't even know his name, forgive me, but their manager just went, right, we had them for that moment, and we went to push for the win. Now let's retreat. They won't break us down. He's getting the better of our guy. Too many managers are getting the better.
That's what I mean.
Boosting, guys.
There you go. At halftime, at Selhurst Park. Glasner got the better of us then because he went,
and that's what I mean. React,
you know what I mean?
How do you react to it?
Getting the better of Eric, and he keeps taking these. These are like not confidence L's. They're like personal L's. So like the team didn't lose, but like, you know, the battle between the managers of like the chess moves. Eric's coming out on the wrong end of these quite a few times. Do you know what I mean? He's getting outwitted, man. Slot done a whole dichotomy as to what happened to break down our team. Absolutely moved to, yeah. For half an hour, Russell Martin had us on strings at Southampton, yeah. And then look what happened. Barnsley, cool. The League One opposition. Crystal Palace, like I said, Glasner makes them changes after getting fortunate not to be 1-0 down, but he completely changed the path of the game by making 2 subs. And then every single sub we made in that game, all 3 of them, didn't work. Then you look at FC 20. Doing all right in the first half, 1-0. Their manager, done okay. Their manager gets into them at half time and says,
done okay.
we've done okay. We're not dead yet. We're not dead yet. Go out there. They ain't got gears to go up. That's their maximum in Dutch or however he's saying it. And
done
then they
okay.
do. They get the goal on the counter attack. He's like, go for the kill. We can do it. Then he's like, actually, we don't need to. We've done okay to still be 1-1 here.
In those moments, you do wonder what Joe Cole probably being saying on comms.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Ten Hag will be kicking himself.
He's a lovely lad. Ten Hag knows that boy. He's a good lad.
Oh, that's all I've
Ten Hag
got.
will be kicking himself right now.
But it's not to say, look, it's not to say that
Eriksen will be kicking himself, bro.
Yeah, it's not to say that, like, again, Ten Hag can't set the team up, because again, against Palace, he did. Like the first half, he did set United up, because again, it should have been 4-0 up. But like I said, it's the reaction. It's the reaction to that.
Look, man, I know Eriksen's a good lad. Comes from a good home.
Good stock. Comes from good stock. Everything he's been through. You know what I mean? But like then he makes a mistake like that. And it's like, it's not to say he hasn't been playing good the last 3 or 4 games, because he really has. He's literally reignited his career out of nowhere, by the way. And the goal that he scored is a really good goal. Good finish.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
does he play in the next one for you guys? Wait, Owen, I haven't watched the I'm so annoyed that they've changed when we used to do presses, because Fridays I'd watch the Owen.
Yeah, KG loves the
It's pissed me off, to be honest. I don't even, it's the sync's all off. I don't even know if it's gonna be like, we don't know. Did he say that he's playing the same team? Did he say something?
I didn't see him say that. I didn't see him say that. I mean, I think he might have said about, you know, people being available. It's probably the same group that's available, you know, because we don't. This is the thing, guys.
There's not much injury.
We don't have many injuries at the moment. Obviously, we've got 2 in 1 position, so we're still short at left back, you know, with Malacia and Shaw and Lenny Oro. But apart from that, I don't see any other big ones. I mean, so, and that was my concern too when I said that. Like,
and Lindelof coming back, but
it was a strong squad on Wednesday.
Yeah,
for a strong squad that's only got a couple of people missing, the fact that I still looked at it and went, we haven't got many options. You know what I mean? But we do.
But we do, yeah.
But we don't. You know what I mean? In the sense of, like, if I'm looking for a goal and we got a stacked bench there, obviously bring Garnacho on because you can get a goal. But then I'm looking at the rest going,
Rasmus should be able to get involved and get us a goal.
Yeah, but he still feels, when he came on against Palace, he looked really rusty. Really, because he hadn't played. And then also it did. And this isn't to be like, oh, Rasmus, he's not the shiny toy anymore, don't like him or anything like that. But when he came on and he did mainly kind of wrestle with people for sort of 10, 15 minutes, I did then get flashbacks of going, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I say something on the Rasmus thing? We can't, on occasion, we were talking, innit, when we were going up to the event, and you was like, you do think that he can be like real sharp.
I think
Andy
Mitten was saying the same thing as well. He said if he's probably most likely to be our top goal scorer this season, and if you think it with the
he probably
is.
Yeah, he was last year, and but that again, I'm still looking at the thing, and I brought it up because Danny Murphy brought up a good point, and remember I said that time, and I just think it's true. I just look at us compared to the rest of the top teams in the division, and it's not that they're bad players. Like Rashford is looking confident again. But you can't hang your hat on him getting 20 plus 25 in all comps. Rasmus is coming back. Like you said, the wrestling thing, and he will probably be our top scorer, like 16 to 18, hopefully. Xerxes not going to be a high volume scorer. He's not. He's going to help us play better, which again, if the rest do their jobs, he can be a really important part in how we want to play. So I've got no problems with that. But in terms of buying that forward to add goals from him,
you expect from him, and then roughly because of his position.
The way he plays in all comps, I
10, 12.
I think it's scraped double
10,
figures.
12, something like that. Yeah. Maybe.
I think it's scraped double figures in all comps. I think you get like 7 in the Prem.
I really like that. I do think I was saying this to you on the match. It wasn't occasion that I do think though playing Xerxes gives those wider players better chances to score goals.
100%.
I would think if you asked Marcus Rashford and Garnacho and Ahmad honestly, you know, off the record, totally confidential, what striker would you rather play with, Højlund or Xerxes? I think they'd probably lean towards Xerxes because he'll create more for them. And like the mindset when with Højlund playing is create for him, balls in the box, feed him, make chances for him. He'll finish them off. He's probably a better finisher than Xerxes. But if you're going to look at, for yourself individually, if you're going to score more goals, who would you want to play with? They'd be like, Xerxes. Yeah, he saw on Wednesday, his link-up play is very good. Hold up play is very good.
Nice, neat touches.
Neat touches. Creates, brings people in, then can shift it out to whoever's playing on the left or on the right, or play it through the middle to the 10 or whatever. And I do think like a Rashford or whatever could score more goals with him in the team. And I still don't know. I know he kind of adapted a bit towards the end of last season. Like Marcus Rashford, for me, just doesn't feel like that kind of wide player. It's like, okay, I'm getting loads of assists for the striker. He's that wide player, that more modern wide player. Because again, we talk about how there's a lack of strikers nowadays, bona fide number 9s. It's because those wide players, the left and right sided players, they're almost as strikers in themselves in terms of the goal scoring attributes, aren't they? Like the Mo Salahs of 20 goals a season, 25
we
goals a
don't
season.
have it. We don't have it.
It's changed. And I think that's the kind of wide player that Rashford wants to be. And that's kind of the model he is in terms of I'm going to score more goals than I create, really. And if that's the case, then you go, right, how do you get the best out of Rashford? You go, well, you probably play like a Xerxes then, really. Or Garnacho, he'd probably actually facilitate Garnacho more.
But even on these individuals, I'm saying like, I still look at them and maybe this is harsh because we're waiting for the form and like you say about watering the plant and time will tell. But like, that innate confidence of when I look at our wingers to go and do that job, because you take Xerxes out of it and say he's not going to get a lot of goals, but he can provide chances for others. Like, I don't know, like look at Villa. Watkins is scoring a lorry load. They've got super sub and Duran scoring a lorry load.
Because there's no real sample size of our players, is there? We've seen Rashford do it a couple of seasons ago, score like 20 plus in a season. So we go, and the general consensus is with that of, we're not sure if he can do that again.
I'm not sure if he can do it again.
And then you look at every other forward player we've got. Garnacho's never done it because he's young.
Never done
Xerxes,
it. Amad's
never done it.
He's
young.
Season playing.
Like, young.
So if you look at us, like we're so soft up there. Like we are. Like it's not. There's nothing you can hang your hat on.
We don't know. We don't know. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. We need to see if these guys are going to become men in this team and lead and carry, because while we don't know, we didn't know that Kobbie was going to break into the scene and then get into the England team and get into the final with him. Well, no one could have. You couldn't have predicted that.
But then the hardest road ahead for Kobbie, the hardest road ahead for Kobbie now is we know how talented he is. But remember when I was saying to you about it's not about the fitness thing, bro. It's about like your cards marked. Like this is, and we need to be really patient here because this is now his first season from beginning to end, full preseason. Well, not full preseason because he didn't get it, but you know what I mean. Playing through the summer, a lot of football, and now his cards are marked, and the team's looking to progress. He came off the bench yesterday at FC20 as well. He
didn't look like
ran past. Like
he didn't look like
he's not going to be that type.
I don't know if he's the player that should. It's like bringing a skull. No, I'm not saying he scores at all, but I'm saying some of these players need to start, bro. I don't know if you're going to get impact.
Yeah, but he can't start every game. I don't mind him, having a.
I don't know what his impact's going to be from the bench, though.
No, exactly.
Not like they can't get the speed of the game because he came in and he wasn't up. He came in.
But also in certain moments in midfield, which we can see a pattern where we can identify as a clear and obvious deficiency for Kobbie. Is that running off the ball with that's something that isn't his strongest point. We know what Kobbie's strongest points are. We also know as a young player and things that everyone's got positives and negatives. Don't matter apart from Messi, Ronaldo, but you get what my drift is. Everyone's got positive and negatives in their game, especially in central midfield. We have to be honest here. If you're trying to build that midfield that's super combative and can have big recovery runs and stuff like that, Kobbie doesn't excel in that department. But then the setup of the team
using him, that's not using him effectively. You have to understand.
No, but there's going to be times where you have to run back with somebody.
Yeah, I do understand that, but I'm talking about when you do talk about system and manager and this, that, and the other, you can't have a player like that realize what he can do and then say be somebody else. You got to now say, well, what can I do to get the most out of you? Because you're a star, like you're a star player. You can be something good for us. What pieces? And I feel like he's still trying to work out he's still got the Mason Mount jigsaw puzzle that he's trying to fit in at the moment, which is like, and at some point, not like how he's giving up on the Anthony piece, where he's like, look,
totally
Anthony, if you get a chance, you get a chance, but I'm not relying on it. We saw a glimpse into his mind, probably what annoyed Owen more if he thought about the long term. I was just watching in a game, but then we saw probably a glimpse of, well, now Mason Mount's here. when I need to make a change, Bruno goes to the right-hand side.
Yeah.
And that's scary. That's scary because, again, that's just not using the team effectively, because you take off Xerxes, he could be a 10 as well. You take off someone that is, it can be an effective 10, move Bruno out wide for Mason Mount, who hasn't worked yet since you signed him.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, I just go back to the goals thing again as well. I mean, I did mention earlier about the concern about where it's going to come from, the goals. But like I said, I do think it is just because or the game plan is for Erik ten Hag. And he did say this himself in the press where he went, well, we've got young players. So I guess the assumption is just, well, they'll be better than they were last year. And to be fair, like you look at Garnacho, for instance, I got his stats here. From last season, he got 10 goals, 5 assists. Already this season, he's nearly got half the amount of goals, and he's only 2 less in the assists that he was all last season, right? So I guess the thought process or the hope is, well, they will be way better. You know, they are going to develop and they're going to grow. And then,
the future.
and then by the end of the season, we go, right, I know where the goals are going to come from because I've seen them do it this season. The problem is, as just said, Garnacho, it's only like really a second full season as like a starting player. Ahmad, to your point, he's only still played a handful of games for United. We don't know. Rashford, we don't know actually
Our manager
what he's going to do.
Can get 25 to 30 goals.
And then, exactly. And then Højlund, you know, he was a top goal scorer last season. I guess the hope is, again, he'll be better. He'll stay fit. And then with Xerxes, I don't know. I know Ten Hag says that he thinks he can be, you know, score a lot of goals. I think that they bought a specific kind of striker with him. You know, I think they kind of did know what they were getting with him. So I'm not sure how much they're looking of like, oh, he's going to get 20 goals. For us, I think it's just another option, another way to play. But that's where the uncertainty comes from. And I think that does also factor into the game of when we do go it's 1-1 or it's 1-0 down, and we go, oh, so who's going to score the goal then? Because we genuinely don't know.
We don't know. It's roulette.
And again,
roulette,
and that's the frustration with like a Bruno as well, because you're going like, we know that what you do is score goals. We know that you score goals and get assists. And the fact that you're not doing that now,
pick the worst time to start doing that.
Plus your like passing or whatever isn't like what it was either, then people get angry or frustrated. So, you know, but then because there was a stat on Sky, wasn't there, of like in the top 6 players with like the highest XG or whatever, or negative XG, which is they should have scored more of the chances they've had. Like 3 of them were United players. which is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but you can only carry that for so long. You know, you have eventually got to put the ball in the back of the net.
It's about results. It's about results, and hopefully we start picking them up real soon, because these types of talks are only going to intensify. They really, really are. Episode 32 of the Trinity podcast, unpowered by Dangor. Get your comments in. Get subscribing to everyone's channels as well. KG that comedian, Owen Wrestle News 3655555.
What do you think they'll say in the comments, KG?
This is the problem with this guy. Go on, guys. How do you think I've done today? Just because we'll see.
I think you've been measured. I mean, I do sense there was a deliberate attempt for you to be this way, though. But like,
no, I just honestly,
I think
you've been sincere. I think you've been good. I think you've been very balanced. I think you've called out some of the shit things.
I guess what?
I think
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well, now you know how you feel how I feel the Jurgen Fleck or the judge or whatever. This is what happens, and you can't shake it off.
Technology, the technology.
Well, now, or now you know how I feel last season. Remember when it was like you were so Ten Hag out? Go, did I ever say that? No, it doesn't matter. The other day. I didn't tell you about this one, KG. The other day, someone's in the comments said, this is what you get for like Xerxes agenda. You don't like Xerxes. And I went back. Because I read the comments too. I went back and I went, I never said about Xerxes. I said that I disagree with the criticism against Southampton, whatever. And they went, yeah, I know you didn't, but KG did. So I'm lumping you all in together. I went, that's not very fair. you can't do that. Can't do that.
That's just straight trolling. They just want to get the reaction.
KG said it, so it's your fault, Owen.
That's what the streets are on, guys. That's what they say.
That's what the title of this video is. KG heel turn is what it is.
Yeah. KG hits back.
Heel turn KG.
It's the fun that's going to piss them off as well. They won't even watch it and they'll put a comment down straight away. Just write KG, write the fun. KG still 100% with Ten Hag.
KG says, be patient. KG wants more time. There you go. Yeah. Right, guys, take care. We'll see you in all the build-up for the game on Sunday. We've got some good content dropping tomorrow as well. So we'll see you then. Laters. Peace.